Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Crypto Nut Show. Your host Superman in the house. Man, we got some big news today. Of course, in the last 24 hours, of course, Bitcoin hit 112,000 US dollars, so new all-time high. Woo! Hot dog dog on that one. That's pretty exciting. So we're going to give the horn for that. I think that is where we are today, and that is record breaking. So yeah, the bull market's upon us. Altcoin season has got to be coming up soon. That's going to be a lot of fun to talk about. And of course, the other big news, of course, was Cetus DEX being exploited, and of course, questions around the Oracle, and of course, a huge amount of money. What have we got? 223 million potential. Now they have reclaimed some of it. We're going to talk about some of those updates as well. So that is a big deal because we had seen institutional investing, flipping Solana to SUI. We had the big billionaire, of course, Rael Paul, who we've been following his wonderful lecture, being on that chain. Of course, he had something like 70% of his private wealth, apparently, in crypto in that. So a huge exploit there, and probably an issue with diversification. Definitely a big issue there for Rael Paul. But of course, he did a fantastic presentation on the bull market cycle, which is upon us. And of course, we see that playing out now. We're going to check out some of that news on Cetus as well. We've also got some big alpha, of course, around Donald Trump and crypto. So we're going to be covering that as well coming up. You don't want to miss that. And even bigger is, of course, Trump's strategy around the big tax bill. And that is very positive. That's moving forward. So everything is lining up, folks. Yeah, the Cetus thing, we're always going to get these kind of big hacks and exploits apparently in crypto. Just seem to keep coming. And of course, CeFi in particular is very vulnerable, right? CeFi type of chains, central oracles, very problematic. So that's why we're always talking about these decentralized oracles. A lot of people go, oh, I don't care about that. It doesn't really matter. Well, you can see why it matters, because if you're involved with the protocol that is using centralized oracles and it gets exploited, then you're in big trouble, right? You're in big trouble. So take note of that. Keep a broad understanding of crypto, so that you're making better decisions. You can't just FOMO into crap stuff and not realize what's behind it. Very important there. Now, the other big thing, of course, we're going to get into the best of PulseChain. So we'll check that out. We're also going to be briefly touching Titan Hub as well, the old Titan system at the end of the live stream. So we've got tons of stuff in store today for the show, including the stock market update and commodities as well. So you're going to get a bit of everything. If you guys haven't joined our strategy club, I really encourage you to join. I'm going to be dropping a huge piece of alpha in there, massive on PulseChain. The Magic Carpet Ride on top of the Magic Carpet Ride, you do not want to miss out on that. That is some secret sauce, and probably, I wouldn't say probably almost exclusive. Well, the numbers and calculations are going to be pretty much exclusive to the Kryptonite show. So you are here in the hub of intelligence, let's say. Not intelligence generally, just in like intelligence service like the CIA or something like that. But it's going to be pretty exciting. So get in the strategy club, only $35 a month. So that's fantastic value. People out there charging thousands of dollars for less alpha. So drop in there today. All right, who else we got jumping in the house there? Don't forget to share the show around on X. It's very easy to do. Just take one moment and share it around. That's how easy it is. And of course, if you want to pump your own bags, then help the influencers get bigger as well, so we can share the good word. And of course, you can follow the influencers of your choice that you like the most, that you enjoy, and just spread it around. That's all we can say. Now, talking about great teams, Goo God's out here absolutely crushing it. So big shout out to the King. These guys, if you want to do promotions, get out there, really check out Goo God and the King, and of course the recent Crown launch, and was it King Jr. Doing a great stuff out there, and that ecosystem is pretty much launched, I believe. So just get onto that. Pretty exciting, performing well in the charts as well. Big shout out to Goo God and the King crew. We got Doug with Heart with Dog in the house there. Big shout out. Good morning, Superman. A big shout out to you as well. Yeah, we're going to be covering a little bit of that at the beginning, so stay tuned for that. And we've got some more coverage coming up for Heart with Dog today. We had put out some stuff yesterday. We're going to go through that today, and then we're going to cover some more today as well. And we'll probably have some more even on Saturday. Oh man, the Heart with Dog is going viral, of course, with their anime series, picking up some big influences like Somi and many others out there. What is it? I think maybe Hexy Bus or something like that. Crypto Coffee. We've got a whole poll on at the moment for new characters in that. You definitely want to check that out. So big shout out to Heart with Dog, crushing it out there. And what a wonderful interview you did with Crypto Coffee the other day. What a fantastic stuff. And I just looked at your thread yesterday on X, and you were doing some cooking and stuff like that or something. It was awesome. So I love it. I would highly recommend you keep that stuff up. That is so entertaining. All right, we got Hexcavator in house there. Hey gang, good to see Hexcavator. Big shout out to you. Craig Pitt in house. Morning all. Good to see Craig and Hexcavator. Like and share. That's the spirit. Big shout out to Hexcavator out there crushing it in the real world, as we say, in the real world. I hope you got rid of that alligator in the lake. Imagine coming home to an alligator in the lake. Oh, what's that in the water? Okay. Better get my tiptoes around, tipping around. But that's pretty hilarious. All right, so let's get into it without further ado, and let's see what's going on here. So yeah, don't forget to repost the show. That really will help a lot with the algorithms there. And I love the little picture here of this. I just put a female Asian hacker on there with all of the little cool outfits on. Pretty awesome. So that's kind of neat. Now, what I want to talk about was I did a stream there. I was a guest on Cult DeFi show. You can check that out. That was a bit of fun on there as well. Pretty late night for Cult DeFi. What else we got going there? Secrets revealed. Yeah, if you want to find out what this is all about, Secrets revealed. Want to make super mad gains. Almost no one knows this, but there is not one but two. I'm going to say it at the end. Almost no one knows, but there is not one but two. Yes, I said 2 magic cart rides on PulseChain, and there is more to find out. You want to find out, join the Kryptonite Show Strategy Club now. Only $35 a month, and the link's in the video description for that. So join up today for that and tell your friends. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got tons of alpha in there, monthly updates, all sorts of stuff. So definitely want to check that out. In fact, I've put out a few other posts there. What the heck? Well, yes. We got the mine numbers there. So definitely get into that. That was a bit of fun post to do. But not kidding around there. No joke. No jokesies, as we say. And I think what else did I have down there today? We had a poll from Richard Hart. We put that out. And of course, we did cover yesterday. We covered the Heartwood Dog. And of course, this is the anime series, which has gone viral, Pulse of the Fallen. And of course, it was episode 5 we were zooming on. Remember the other day we had the exclusive launch of chapter 10 with Conor McGregor versus the main character in the viral series Pulse of the Fallen, which is Hog, right? Hog's the main character. You follow his life, the twists and turns. And of course, this episode, chapter 5, had Somi versus the gym leader, Charizard. And of course, Charizard has a secret weapon, and you can see it in this picture here, which is pretty cool. And Somi is getting ready to fight with Pikachu on his shoulder there. It is crazy stuff there. And you got all these different chapters. We're going to cover chapter 1, Genesis. Chapter 2, The Shocking New Friend. Chapter 3, The Inverse Oracle. And this has got Somi on it too. Reunites with Pikachu. We got chapter 4, Hog versus Gary. Chapter 5, Durkee Thanksgiving. Somi battles a gym leader, Charizard, which is the one you can see above here. And nice work, Somi reposting out some of the imagery too. Very, very cool. Chapter 6, the prize that shows you. Somi gets a special poke. A poke ball from Professor Ivan in chapter 6. Chapter 7, Big Russell in Little Chinatown. I guess Kurt Russell's probably in this one. There's a lot of celebrities in this, as well as PulseChain influencers. Somi goes to Shane Hart's birthday party and runs into thugs that who steal his Pika hat. OMG. And then number 8, Semen Retention. A bit of adults only show that one. And then we got number 9, a non-fungible reunion. And then chapter 10, which we debuted the other day, Whiskey Business and a Whiskey Business. Whiskey Business. Somi goes to Hex Fighting Championships. And of course, someone throws a beer bottle over at them in the crowd while the fight's on between Hog and Conor McGregor. And then there's a fight in the crowd as well with Somi and others in there as well, like Pikachu. There's a big, crazy world there. Now, this is 10 chapters. Now, apparently it's going to be something like 100 chapters. So this is going to continue to be a viral anime on PulseChain. And, of course, I think there's going to be so much stuff happening with it. So big shout with Heart the Dog with that. Now, there also is this poll on at the moment, right? Battle Royale is now on for the next new character. So this is the new character, not existing characters like Somi. But new characters, I can't make that point enough because some people don't read properly. So new characters is coming on here, and we've got some big names that could potentially be in the new character. Crypto Coffee versus Saint Wolf versus Catered on Crypto versus Money Gang Crypto. So it's 4 big influences in PulseChain and in crypto. And they've already got some little picture there of each of them, right? So you got Crypto Coffee with the coffee mug. You got Saint Wolf there as well. You've got DJ Khaled there and Money Gang Crypto as well. So they've already got characters for them. So let's see what happens with that. And of course, you can vote for them right now. Pretty awesome. I got a little sneak preview of the video there too for chapter 5. So you can check that out. I don't want to play too much of it now. but that is definitely on the move there. In fact, we'll probably put this post in the chat that you guys can check it out on the link. So definitely check that out. It is going to be pretty awesome. This whole viral anime, it's going to get bigger and bigger, guys. 10 chapters already out of 100. Man, this thing's going to blow up. And of course, I think there's going to be a lot of influences be covered in it. Some of your favorite ones, you'll be able to follow their story. It's a lot more in store there. So check that out as well. Now, the other big thing, of course, is that we had was the poll is still on. So if you want to vote, there's still about 1 day left. So I do encourage you to go vote. So get in there as well. Now, the vote could very well change within the next day. And I think it finishes tomorrow, my time. So definitely go out and vote. Vote for your next influencer there for Heart with Dog. So definitely check that out. And that is on the link there. So go vote today. Now we've probably got some comments in the chat there. So let's quickly go to that as well. And let me just jump into the top here. Let's just scroll back up here. This anime is going to go viral. I think it's a perfect time to take off too, because the bull market's coming. Influencers are all coming back. There's going to be a lot of new characters in the anime. I think we're going to get potentially a lot of celebrities, even wider than PulseChain. Keep a lookout for that, because you just never know with this team from Heart with Dog. They're really reaching out to some other people in house there. I think trying to reach out to the Hodge twins would be a pretty good idea. That's a pretty good one there, and I've got a couple other ideas that thought of as well. So that's kind of cool. Now I wanted to make one comment, but I'll leave that for off the screen maybe. But I think that's going to be fun to see, and so keep a lookout. A lot of evolution can continue as well. Let's have a look here. Let's see. We've got some more comments. Brendan says we're looking pumpalicious. Says Brendan, we are indeed. Noted. Says Heart with Dog. Noted. We got Jim Rat Crypto in the house there. Big shout out. Was good. Big shout out there, Jim Rat Crypto, crushing it straight back in the gate. I love it. So keep up the great work, Jim Rat. Always a pleasure as usual. Brendan's in the house there. The gator was at Trent's, not Mike. Oh, Mickey's. Oh, was it? Okay, my bad. It was at Trent's place. Sorry, Brendan. We got Russell Crowe. Yeah, Russell Crowe. A lot of celebrities in the viral anime. Pulse of the Fallen, it's called. Pulse of the Fallen anime series from Heart with Dog. Was his special move the payphone slap? I don't know. Is it a South Park version of Russell Crowe? Okay, there we go. Check that episode out. That'd be pretty cool. What else we got to say? Hog to the moon, says Sean O'Malley. Hog to the moon. Hog to the moon, says Sean O'Malley. How about that? I hope I did it justice with my little Kiwi accent. Was it Sugar Sean knows what's up, says Heart with Dog. All right, so that's kind of cool. So check that out. There is a token called Hog, so you can go and buy and sell that. Apparently it's been doing pretty well. So check that out today. So that's kind of where we are with that moment. That's kind of the what we've been talking about on the chat. We've got lots more coming, though. Lots more coming from Heart with the Dog. So keep your eyes out there. All right, so we're going to get into the stock market today. Let's do that. The S&P 500 ends flat as US debt concerns weigh in on the sentiment. And, of course, we've got the same old liberal commentary. It's pretty much the same. You can expect what it's going to be. We've got Dow Jones pretty much flat at the moment at 41,859. S&P 500 is pretty much flat as well, just down slightly at 5,842. And, of course, this is the results for Thursday, US. And then the NASDAQ has actually been green. So NASDAQ there, with all the tech companies bouncing up there, 1/3%, 53 points to 18,925. So people picking up some of those little sell-offs from yesterday from the looks of it. So that is good news. So dip buying in tech stocks led by Alphabet helped the broader market steady, with the later adding to this week's gains following its developer conference earlier this week there. Tech giants used the event to defend its search product, which is under threat from new generative AI rivals, which is really good because we know that Google Alphabet search is rigged, right? The whole thing's rigged. It's rigged. I can't say that enough. We know that so-called, what is it? The other one that's rigged, Wikipedia, rigged. It's all so rigged. The whole thing's just set up pretty much dominated by the Democrats' ideology of progressivism and crazyism. That's pretty much it. How can you bend history? I feel sorry for the kids today trying to learn real history. You almost got to go back to like a pre-2010, probably 2010, to get actual textbooks and read the textbooks because everything else since then is pretty much warped history. So, it's if you want your kids to learn real history, get them an old textbook. Go to some of those old bookstores and get them some real books with real history. I've got a dictionary, a pre-woke dictionary, and I use that. It's a big, giant, awesome dictionary. It's the place to be. Get your kids the right stuff here. So that's kind of where we're at the moment. Now, the big news, of course, was with the House passes the tax bill. We're going to talk about that. So I think I've got that up here. So let's talk about that first. President Trump wrote the one big beautiful bill. Can we say it together? The one big beautiful bill has passed the House, which I think is pretty exciting, right? So we're going to give that some magical twinkle. So that has passed the House, and he says the House of Representatives. So we saw that there was a bit of issue over the weekend with the Freedom Caucus, right? About 5 or 6 people wanting to, cut down like Medicare, I think it was Medicaid. Not cut down the amount per se, but the actual make people working for Medicaid, I think it is. Yeah. So they wanted to work for, I think it was like 4 years. They wanted to bring it in like 2 years or something, so that people would start working, working more if they could, rather than just sort of free riding, as it were, or just sitting there not doing much with it. And when they're physically able to, not for people that are, sick or that, but really for people that are able to work that aren't working. That's kind of the idea there. So this is arguably the most significant piece of legislation that will ever be signed in the history of our country. And this is huge, right? So this is may take a little hit on the federal revenue, but ultimately in the short term, will boost federal revenue as the lower taxes incentivize economic growth, which we've seen in history does actually play better with increasing the pie and the equity and fairness for everybody at the same time, as opposed to the Marxist idea where you shrink the pie almost and you then allocate it out to your favorite people, right? That's basically what they do, right? So that's why Marxism and socialism fails, communism fails, right? Because just a bunch of narcissists get to control the rest of us. I don't know about you, but I don't want no narcissists controlling us. We want our freedom. So that's kind of where we want to be there. The other thing, of course, is that this is going to be massive for the United States if they can get the 3-4% plus GDP. It's going to be the golden age of America, right? This is one of the key pillars. The other key pillars are deregulation and leverage of the small, medium banks in particular. And then, of course, the third part we've been talking about is the World Trade Organization, the first one since the Bretton Woods in 1944, and, of course, the 80s as well with Reagan there. So we've got pretty big historical things happening right now with these big tax bills, combining with those other 2 legs of Trump's strategy, all need to be in place by the 4th of July. And the lead up, of course, for that is that we've got this big bill that's supposed to try and get signed off by the 26th of May. And then, of course, we're going to expect to have a lot of these big top tier trade deals done with Japan, India, South Korea, etc. All these big top 15 countries. And that's going to fuel the stock market, fuel the crypto market. It's boom, boom, boom. We're going to probably get the interest rate pivot very soon. And hopefully, because the interest rate inflation is really down pretty relatively low. And of course, monetary printing, right? And that's the big catalyst for lifting up, the M2 money supply, lifting up all the risk on assets, right? Because as interest rates come down, people want to get higher rates, higher returns, so they take more risky investments, and so they plow more money. There's more money around, they plow more of that money into crypto, stock markets, and commodities, etc. And of course, if you've got a robust economic system that's expanding supply and, of course, enriching the consumer, which the US is the big consumer of the world, then it's boom, 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 golden age of America is in place. And, of course, you've already seen with the Middle East tour, Trump picked up another $5 trillion. That's even up higher than what I originally told you, about 3.5 to 4. It's about 5.2 trillion in addition to the 8 trillion he already had. So he's already up over $13 trillion investment. This is mind-blowing numbers. Remember, benchmark that against the US economy, which is GDP of about 27 trillion, with the US debt about 37 trillion, and of course the trade deficit 1.2 trillion, and of course the federal deficit is at 2 trillion, right? So with 1 trillion in debt. So those are kind of the lead numbers. Those are all the things that Trump's addressing. And of course, these are the things that the Democrats and the Uni Party and the old Republican Party blew out, right? Not dealing with a lot of issues. And of course, paying their mates, doing a lot of kickbacks and all the rest of the stuff you guys know they've been up to. And of course, this is now a big deal. So this is all putting in place. It's going to be absolutely crazy. Now, with all those trillions of dollars, what are they doing? They're building. What does Trump do? Build. And so you're going to see an infrastructure boom. You're going to see a new tech and manufacturing boom in the US. It's going to be glorious. You're going to see new ports, new shipbuilding, new space up in the space, new robots walking around. It's going to be a crazy place to be. And that's all within the next couple of years. So it's going to be pretty exciting. We're probably going to see, good old Optimus land on Mars during this period, right? So they're looking to leave for Mars at the end of next year, sort of September, October. with the old Starship. So we're about to enter into the golden age of America after the 4th of July. That's when he has to have it all played in. It's going to be super exciting. I cannot say it exciting enough. It is so good. So, yeah, we got overtime tax deductions when you purchase an American-made vehicle, along with strong border security measures, pay rises from our ICE and Border Patrol agents, funding for the Golden Dome. That's their big new Star Wars program, right? And that's going to be really exciting. Now, that's, a good defense is a great offense, right? And of course, you heard the Chinese saying, "Oh, don't build it, offensive." Well, actually, it's defensive. And of course, when you don't build defensive stuff, what do the rogue nations do that want to take over the world? They want to they tell you don't do it, so that you don't have much of defense against us. So we need to use it, right? So this is a big deal. So a good defense is a great offense. So fantastic news there. Now, Trump's savings accounts for newborn babies and much more. Great job by Speaker Mike Johnson and the House leadership. And thank you to every Republican who voted yes in this historic bill. Now it's time for our friends in the United States Senate to get to work and send this bill to my desk as soon as possible. So they want to get this all done by 26th of June. So 26th of May as well. And then, of course, we're going to have all these trade deals coming in through May, coming in through June. And, of course, they're going to be doing a lot of that other stuff around deregulation and leverage. It's going to be awesome. And we're expecting a lot of cool stuff around crypto legislation all the way through the end of this year. So we're going to get crypto's going to be sort of slowly dripped out along the way. So we're going to get more good news for crypto as this bull market, builds up. So that's kind of cool. There is no time to waste. The Democrats have lost control of themselves and are aimlessly wandering around, showing no confidence, grit, or determination. They've forgotten their landslide loss in the presidential election and are warped in the past, hoping someday to revive open borders for the world's criminals to be able to pour into our country, men to be able to play in women's sports, and transgender for everybody. They don't realize that these things and so many more like them will never happen again. So that's from President Trump there. And of course, we saw a good commentary here as well. So that has moved. The measure passed by a narrow 215 to 14 margin. That's pretty crazy. And all Democrats oppose the bill, of course, because they are destroyers of the West. Democrats, progressives, socialists, globalists, they're all part of the same evil destruction of the West. And of course, good riddance with them. It is great to have Trump running the world at the moment. We're going to have security, prosperity, and freedom. Those are unbelievable. Those are the hallmarks of the West, whereas the Democrats are trying to create some sort of dystopian, utopia, where they who's their idols? Authoritarian China, right? This is their idols. So you know where they want to take us. And of course, they divide and control us. They propagandize. They chase our kids down. So we're very lucky to have President Trump in the power here, fighting for all the good stuff and getting rid of the bad stuff there. The bill now moves to the Senate, where some lawmakers are pushing for revisions, with a vote on approval expected by August there. The U.S. House Rules Committee on late Wednesday approved President Donald Trump's expensive tax and spending bill after nearly 22-hour session there, along with the extensions of the 2017 tax cuts, which Trump put in. The legislation would slash taxes charges on tips and loans. So if you're a waiter out there or you get tips in the United States, so it's something we don't have here in New Zealand that much, but in America, tip culture is very big, and a lot of the income that you actually earn is tip culture. So that's going to be huge, having taxes slashed on that, and of course car loans as well. So obviously it's going to be a boom in America with car manufacturing. It's going to be a big deal there. While boosting spending on defense and border security, this is going to be the first $1 trillion spending budget. $1 trillion. Normally it's about $880 billion for the U.S. economy to spend on military. And of course, compare that to Canada, which is like 40 billion. This is like 880, but this year it's going to be $1 trillion. And of course, it does include this new Golden Dome and other stuff that they're building. The new generation fighter? Was it 47? Number 47, yeah. So it's going to be pretty F-47, they call it, after Trump, right? 47th president. So pretty awesome there. And it looks very futuristic, doesn't it? Looks like it's come out of Independence Day, one of those alien ships or something. Pretty crazy. Reductions into key food and health programs for low-income Americans are also included in the bill. So that's a very important part there. Obviously, you got to have a balanced program where the smaller class and the middle class are protected. And of course, we know what's Trump wanting to do. He's trying to reinvigorate the middle class in America. The Democrats destroyed over decades, and along with the Uniparty Republican, the old Republican Party, which Trump's really tried to get out of power. And of course, they have destroyed the middle class, right? Particularly in the Midwest. all right, particularly in red states, so they've really done that, and they love it. They love it. They love bash and look what they call, MAGA, right? Maggots and stuff like that. They do terrible stuff. So this is really, really cool. So looking after the poor with some of these measures, and as well as trying to get more of the poor into the middle class, is what's going to happen over the next couple of years, right? So very, very exciting about that. Now, critics have expressed concerns over potential cut into social programs. Of course, this is the Democrats, particularly. Now, obviously, rooting out corruption and fraud has been probably the big play, but really they haven't really touched Medicare or Medicaid. So that's the big key there as well. Nonpartisan analysts have estimated that the reductions could add between 3 to 5 trillion to the country's 36 trillion debt pile over the next decade. But of course, they're not taking into account economic growth and of course the increased tax take from that, right? So that's the thing they're not doing. And they're doing that intentionally, right? Because it doesn't fit their narrative that they want to do. Now, the other big thing, of course, is that the job market is pretty solid at the moment. So the economy is holding up. So these so-called 30-40% fears of recession are looking pretty good in the U.S. economy. And so Trump may very well skim through that and head up the other side for really strong economic growth. So that's kind of the play there. All right, let's jump over to the next bit here. And of course, we covered the big, beautiful tax bill. This is so key. I cannot say it enough to our hyper bull run of this cycle for crypto. This is where it's going to put us on the upper end of the crypto, predictions. Like we've been pretty much between 150 and 200, particularly 150 to 180. And of course, that's where a lot of the analysts sit. But we're talking about 150 to 250. That'd be a 3 to 5x on the previous bull market in 21. And of course, hey, look, with the possibility of an upside to 400K, even higher, is definitely doable sometime between the end of this year and particularly the beginning of 2026, right? That's kind of where we're sitting at the moment. And of course, there's no issue with crypto re-rating another 9-10x from where we are today to 900K to $1 million, because that would get us to gold level, right? To market cap of gold. So there's no real issue there. So, the next couple of years are going to sort of slowly creep us up towards that wonderful sort of $1 million mark for Bitcoin. And of course, that means all the rest of the crypto re-rates, right? We're currently about 3.4 trillion, 3.5 trillion. That means we're all going to re-rate to big numbers. We know that Michael Saylor is also leveraging up, constantly trying to buy more Bitcoin as he moves up. Because why? Because he has this projection for 2045 of Bitcoin being $13 million. I'll repeat that again, $13 million per Bitcoin by 2045. So he's just like, I'm buying 100K. I'll buy as much of the stuff as I can because it's going to be $13 million. That's his mid case for where it could be by 2045. So he's just like, yeah, I'm just going to $100,000. Yeah, I'll just buy more. And so he's leveraging that up. So pretty exciting. All right, so that's kind of where we are on the old tax bill. Now, the next bit we're going to get into, of course, is we got some more comments here. We've got 5555 from DJ Mexican. Big shout out. And, of course, we've got the old market cap here. So, yeah, we've actually crept up even a little bit higher here. We're up 0.6% today to $3.63 trillion. So it's even a bit higher. And, of course, we've got the rankers at the moment. Bitcoin at the moment up 1.6% to 111,000. Now, it did hit 112,000 on Coinbase. And hence, that's the title of the video, right? We hit 112,000, the all-time high, and we're at 111,231 at the moment. And, man, it's game on. You guys know, once we move over 100,000, we've got this kind of number bias where we, instead of moving around like maybe 10,000, we could move 10, 20, 30,000 in a day. So just remember that when we get this volatility, the number's going to be bigger on the day volatility because we're moving up over 100K, right? So just remember that. Ethereum at the moment has moved up pretty nicely, 3.5% today at 2,647. Number 4 is XRP, at 1.4% at $2.42. BNB is up 1.5% at $685. Solana at number 6 is up 3.8%. Now, with the exploit on Cetus and SUI, Solana may be one of the key beneficiaries from that, right? We saw a bit of a flipping over institutional investing into SUI. Obviously, we've got Raoul Pal, the big billionaire with 70% of his portfolio in the old SUI there. Well, this means that some of the other chains benefit, and that includes PulseChain, right? So we may see a lot more people flock over to other chains. So yeah, keep a lookout for that. And we obviously see a lot of PulseChain influencers out there trying to, grab the attention as well. So, it's going to be pretty interesting to see that play out. Number 8 is Dogecoin. And of course, that is up 4.1% at 24 cents. And Cardano, I should say, or ADA is up 4.8% at 80 cents. And then Tron at number 10 is up 2.5% at 27. Those are top 10. And the best performer in the last week has been Dogecoin up 10.4%, followed by Bitcoin up 7.4% there and then Solana actually up 5.9. So those are kind of our leaders there, top 3 out of the top 10. Now, as you guys know, we always look at what's the best performer in the last week over the top 100, and we can see that WorldCoin or Wild Token has been doing pretty well, up 30%, best performer in the top 100, currently ranked number 62. We've got Hyperliquid, of course, has been performing like a boss at number 14 on the rank, but number 2 in the week, up 27%. And then yours favorites, I know some of you guys really love this, and that's Fartcoin. Fartcoin there is at number 78 on the rank, but is up the number 3rd on the best performer this week, up 19%. Followed quickly by Dog with Hat, up 90%, and Curvedale at number 5 there at 18.8%. Now, I want to make an observation about Dog with Hat. What we're seeing, coins that are down at number 292, like Dog with Hat, these meme coins, these are something you should consider putting in your portfolio, I would argue, because these will re-rate pretty severely in the bull market, as we see meme coins often do, and suddenly go from number 92 to probably number 30 or number 20, So just take note of that. It might be something worth picking up a little bit. Only $1.18 at the moment. In fact, let's have a quick look at Dog with Hat while we're here to see where that might be. So let's have a quick look at the max chart. I think we're on max anyway. So yeah, we've come off the bottom here. So it was down at 32 cents. It's now all the way up here, $1.20. But look where it's been. Look where it's been here. April 24, it was up at $4.54. Recently, it got up to what is that there? $4.19 on November 24. So we might reasonably expect it to re-rate pretty severely. You can see it re-rated pretty fast before. So we might see that there's definitely a 3 or 4x here potentially in the chart. Now, the other thing, of course, is that if we're going to a new bull market, this might go even higher, right? Even higher. And what else would I like to say about that is it's $1.2 billion of fully diluted valuation on market cap at the moment. So yeah, check out some of these ones that are pretty popular name meme coins, because having a few of those could be part of your, still everything crypto is risky to some extent, but maybe a bit more of a safer play amongst the big meme coins. Let's put it that way for the context. So it's a little bit insight there, because sometimes you're distracted with a lot of other things and you miss out some of these other big stuff that's out there. So hopefully that gives you a bit of insight there. Now, if you want to find out more details, of course, jump into the Strategy Club. Only $35 a month. And we do lots of cool stuff in there. In fact, I've got a big alpha drop, probably the biggest I'm going to do all year in the chat, in the Strategy Club, going to happen today. So definitely check that out. All right, let's jump over to the big news, of course, was Cetus DEX. Before we do that, though, let's get into what's trending, or top gainers at least. Top gainers, Spring State, SUI chain up 370% there, Diverge Loop up 195%, and Guild of the Guardians up 77 cents there. Those are kind of the top gainers. Trending by economy, SUI chain and Hyperliquid there, all trending. Of course, SUI chain probably for the wrong reasons, right? But that is where we are at the moment. Let's jump over to the big news, though. Cetus protocol, the largest decentralized exchange, or DEX, and liquidity provider on SUI network, has been drained. It has been drained. 223 million worth of tokens in an apparent hack. And of course, the protocol added that 162 million of the stolen funds had been paused. Amazing how you can do that, right? Amazing how you can do that. Has been paused, and working with the SUI Foundation to recover the remainder of the funds there. So they have managed to mitigate the worst outcomes, but there's still a lot has gone over to Ethereum via USDC, and apparently it's been buying Ethereum. So we'll talk a bit about that. The wallet tied to the Cetus protocol exploit, B50, currently holds over 12.9 million SUI, valued at approximately 54 million at current prices. On-chain data shows the address has a net worth exceeding 32 million SUI, approximately $137 million. Essentially, the attacker may have already bridged or swapped funds over through multiple paths. Now, apparently, a lot of it's going over via USDC to Ethereum. The wallet remains active at the time of publishing, and it's likely in the process of obfuscating funds. This confirms the scale of the exploit and further pressures SUI DeFi infrastructure as major token pools and peers remain. Now, the Cetus team has paused the smart contracts and is actively investigating it on a post. According to early analysis, the attacker used spoof tokens like Bulla to exploit broken price curves and reserve calculations. Some pretty clever people out there, right, doing some pretty bad stuff, unfortunately. They then added a near zero liquidity to manipulate internal LP state and repeatedly removed real assets like SUI and USDC without depositing anything meaningful. Oh my God. And that's kind of something that seems like Cetus protocol were drained. Looking at the transactions like export paths, number one, swap to spoof token, and of course add liquidity with a near zero amount, manipulate internal LP. Cetus confirmed the incident on X, saying the contract had been paused for safety and that a detailed statement will follow. Binance founder CZ said the exchange team had reached out to SUI to offer help. Cetus is down 40% in the past few hours, with based meme coins like Bulla and Mojo have dropped 90%, and no one likes to see that happen. So we do feel for the community over on SUI, and hopefully, if they're wanting to come to a better place, come over to PulseChain. That's how we feel about that. But we do, recognize anyone losing is not fun in the game there. If you have under a lot of psychological mental stress, definitely seek professional help as well. All right, so that's kind of where we are there. Now, we got the official Cetus here, and of course, they announced this on X. They've almost had 1 million views on this, by the way. There was an incident detected in our protocol. They talked about that. Pretty big alert there. Now, we did have, I just want to get back to some more of these updates here from Cetus. Let me just zoom in on that so we can get the full thing. That was 9 hours ago. As of early today, we've confirmed that hackers stolen 223 million. 162 million comp prices successfully paused. So that was some of the items there in the article. And of course, 3 hours ago, we had some updates there. So we'll get into this one here. Dear Suge community, thank you for your patience with our team while our team works on the incident investigation resolution. Since taking the actions indicated in our previous announcement, we have also done the following. We engaged the broader ecosystem, SUI team, and related third parties for incident analysis and fund tracing, and flagged the hackers' accounts. We identified the root cause of the exploit and fixed related package. And of course, informed ecosystem builders as fast as we could with help from the ecosystem members to prevent other teams being affected. We engaged professional anti-cybercrime organizations to support our fund tracing and are negotiating regarding safe return of the funds. Now, obviously this is, you put as much pressure as you can on, but this depends on who you're dealing with the hacker, who they are as a person, etc., etc. We are speaking with law enforcement and are in the process of arranging further assistance. We have identified the Ethereum wallet address controller by the hacker responsible for the earliest today's exploit and reached out to negotiate a return of customer funds. We have offered time-sensitive white hat settlement in exchange for the outstanding balance. Should the hacker accept our terms, we would also refrain from pursuing further legal action. And you can see the offers there on there. So SUI, Vision, and Etherscan. To our community, thank you for your continued support, etc. So there we go. That is from the Cetus there 3 hours ago. We're going to see what that's like as well. So let's quickly see. I haven't checked these views here, but let's see there. So that is where we are at the moment. So it's got a little note here about that. To resolve efficiently, we are offering a white hat settlement if you return the following set of funds: 20,920 ETH, etc. So the ETH should be returned to Ethereum wallet. And of course, as I understand it, he bridged out into USDC and then has been buying Ethereum. And of course, some people on PulseChain like posting, well, if you're doing that, here's that bridge. There's the PulseChain bridge over to here. I'm just like, yeah, okay, but maybe we don't want the sort of player over on PulseChain. I don't know. What do you guys reckon? So maybe not the smartest idea. I know it sounds like good marketing, but Neil Fisher says SUI and Cetus a bunch of centralized junk. That's right. So centralized Oracle, and that's why important talking about Neil Fisher there. He's part of the Signum crew, our Oracle that's coming to PulseChain hopefully very, very soon. And a big shout out to Stu out there doing his best to get it over the line. And of course, we are getting an update from Stu about the Signum Oracle, is that you do need decentralized oracles to operate properly. And of course, we've got Fetch Oracle, and then we're going to have Signum, which is going to have a few extra bells and whistles. And of course, also Tetra as well, which is going to be pretty. I'm excited about Tetra. I'm going to play around with that quite a bit, hopefully. And I know a lot of people will, and we might do some cool stuff on here with that. I actually might do some special stream segments covering some of that as well, and some applications that may be possible through that too. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to use Tetra, and of course, Signum is going to be important for PUSD ALGO, which we're super excited about for a algorithmic stablecoin on PulseChain. So big shout out to Neil for T-shares there. Midnight Madness says, when will Pulse 100X? It's coming up soon, man. It's coming up soon. You got to check out the Future of PulseChain video I did the other day. And of course, I saw RH Max reposted that. So big shout out to RH Max for that. I will be doing my own video clips on PulseChain, and I've just got to do some live recording as well. So I've got to set that up. So that's something that's coming up. I'll be seeing a lot of my short clips on YouTube because we're going to be dropping alpha bombs. No, just kidding. We're going to provide some insights, that's for sure. So that's going to be a lot of fun. All right, so that is a cool note there to that wallet. So kind of neat. All right, so let's move on from that. We got Cointelegraph posting out some cool stuff around crypto. So yeah, heading to the crypto dinner in London County, Virginia, in a little while. Now, Virginia and Tennessee, places like that, always seems exotic to me because we grew up watching so many American movies, cowboys in the South and all that sort of stuff, cotton picking, and you name it, with all these American cultural things. And of course, whenever I see Virginia or Tennessee, I always think about these movies. I don't know, it's just the way it goes. Heading to the crypto dinner in London counties, Virginia, in a little while. The US is dominating in crypto, Bitcoin, etc., and we are going to keep it that way. Woo-hoo-hoo! Now, the one thing I was going to say about this is that we're expecting some big, big things moving ahead for crypto with regulation. And it's going to be, like I say, it's going to come at different stages. It's not all happening at the beginning. We're going to be expecting a lot of cool things happening, particularly by September, October. They're doing a lot of stuff around crypto regulation. And hopefully that's going to include incentives and other things like that. And we should hear more about, the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, different ways of buying more Bitcoin from a government point of view. There's the federal government talking about, and of course the altcoin stockpile as well. So keep an outlook for that. Also, the Trump Foundation, that is outside, of course, Trump's professional role as president, that his family are running, right? They're none of them in power, so and they're doing their own stuff, right? They're not, using government relations. It's all separate and private sector. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, looking very excited for that. And of course, here's a picture of the fam before they go to the crypto meet up there in the county, all dressed up and ready to go. So kind of cool. And that leads us on into PulseChain, I guess. Time to talk about PulseChain, which we're going to get into the best of PulseChain today. So let's see what's on the markets. Before we do that, though, we've got another quick question from a Midnight Madness. Are you farming on PulseChain? Now, I never talk about my positions on PulseChain. People are farming on PulseChain. Have I farmed on PulseChain? Of course, I've farmed on PulseChain, but there's lots of different farms on PulseChain to choose from. So yeah, PulseX, 9mm, 9-inch, 9mm, yeah, 9-inch for sure. And then, of course, there's Nexian out there. There's Emmett out there. There's Vox Farms out there. There's lots of opportunity on farming. So if you want to check out that Midnight Madness, check them all out. And they've got some pretty stellar yields as well. So, yeah, check them out. Some good projects out there. Now, what else we got there? GoPulse in house. Let's have a look here. We're going to get into that. Before we do, we've got Heart with Dog out with some alpha. PulseChain is the true decentralized chain and the only crypto outside of BTC that has legal clarity. I couldn't have said it much better myself. That is fantastic. I think that deserves a round of applause. No comment. All right, we're going to give it the magical twinkle. Why not? We love the sound effects. In fact, we love the sound effects. So I'm going to actually, there's a couple of little memes I'm going to pull into the show. So we're going to have some little memes come up because, I want to get that one. We're going live or something. We're playing live or something. We're going to do it live. That's the one. I want to bring that in, a couple others. So I must work on that. That's something else I got coming up. So big shout there. Yeah, definitely check out Heart with Dog, the Pulse of the Fallen anime series. Chapter 10 is recently released, of course, against Conor McGregor and Hog, the main character. And of course, there's going to be something like 100 chapters coming up. So you definitely want to check that out. I think it's going to be super exciting. All right, let's get into PulseChain and let's look at the best of what's out at the moment. Obviously, we're on a slightly down day. And I want to talk about a great observation that a member of our community made. I don't know whether he wants to make it public or not, so I'll just pretend it's not. But we got liquidity. So what are we seeing? We're seeing that the liquidity's been thinned out, right? So if you watched my video on the future of PulseChain, pretty much, you will see that we got all these fundamentals on PulseChain and potentialities, right? But there's even more than what's in that video, by the way. So just to let you know that you get in the strategy club, you'll find out about that. We got day 742 since PulseChain launched on the 30th of May 2023. A fork of Ethereum on the 10th of May 2023, and here we are 742 days later. Now we've had the liquidity thinned out by Richard's team, right, with the inflation cut for incentive token, inflation cut for X. And what we're seeing is that we get these volatility. It's very easy to move the chart up and down, right, because of the liquidity's been thinned out. Now that will probably dampen down to some degree as we move up in price, but then again, that natural oscillation will be affected by anyone taking particular profits, so any large account taking profits. Now, and that's being said, over 442 days, we have got a lot of loose hands have let go of tokens, so maybe we've got a bit more diamond hands. We'll see how that plays out. But once we get into an uptrend, the same psychology we get on a downtrend, we get on an uptrend, right? So people jumping over each other to buy up the tokens, right? Because it gets expensive pretty fast, especially on small liquidity. So that's we have been seeing this sort of move around pretty easy in the percentages on PulseChain. Now at the moment, Pulse is at quadruple 0415. As you guys know, getting to 4,200 was a pretty important mark. We're kind of testing that today. And of course, if we can hold that, then it's really, I think, game on from here to the next level for the old Pulse, right? So we'll keep a lookout for that. Now, PulseX at the moment, quadruple 0385 is down 6%. The buy and burn is at 1.41 trillion. 7.15% of the PulseX supply has been bought up and burned so far. So not bad with that. Incentive token $1.86 is down 5.4%. The inflation, of course, cut down to 2,600 ink per day. And we're sitting at 55 million base supply approximately. So that's not moving up at all. So, we get an application on ink. We get anything like that. It's just like PDI, right? The PDI, if we get applications on there like Better Bank with an modified RV fork, other applications, then it's going to help supply sync a lot of the supply, get a lot more demand in. And, of course, that helps elevate the price pretty quickly. We got Hex at the moment is at 9/10 of a penny, down 2.8%, and EHEX at 2,600 a penny. Combined price EX and PX is at 1.15 cents. So these are the Richard Hart tickers, and they're just down slightly today. But like I say, they're going to move around, with the liquidity being a lot thinner. But once we get that uptrend, man, it's going to run pretty hard, I think. So pretty exciting about that, especially with everything that we've talked about, what Trump is doing around the world. Now, the beats on the PulseChain, 1.5 million beats. We've got 2 cents for a PulseX swap at the moment. Looking at the validators, we're at 46,657 validators at the moment. That's been moving back up. So very excited about that. We've moved up, about 1,600? Is it 1,600 or 2,600? I can't remember how low, whether it got to 44 or 45. I think it might have got to 45. So, yeah, I think we're up about 1,600 there on the validators. We got Bridge at the moment is sitting at just under 97 million. So we've been around this mark the last 3-4 days. And so we're waiting to just make that next push. If we can hold that PulseChain price, I guess, around that area of 4,200, then next push to 100 million. And of course, we got some big potential on-ramps coming up this week, right? We got the banks that could be online next week. That's what we're expecting for next week. The banks that will be online. Now, obviously, they went live, but they had a few technical issues they had to work out. So that's online. They obviously Ramp now is online from Sun Minimail, and so those two, and then we're expecting a third one, right? So that was going to potentially allow a lot of capital coming in from Europe. So that could be very, very bullish indeed. So we're looking forward to that, and maybe also the buy and burn turned on. So that's going to be fun too. So keep a lookout for this bridge as well as Coast, obviously the official PulseChain, and so on. So really things are warming up here, and who knows what Rack and Michelle's doing with that old letter there. There's press release around the beating the SEC, Richard Hart beating the SEC. Who's he sending that to? Is he sending it to VCs? Is he sending it to institutions? Is he sending it to the Saudis? We could have a lot of new capital coming in PulseChain pretty quickly there. All right, so we also got the total volume at the moment, 26.5 million. That's pretty good. So we're up 26. It is a bit of a down day, generally speaking, but that's a good number there, 26.4 million. And we got the transactions at 311,000, which is pretty normal around that 300,000 mark. Top performers at the moment. Well, 9 hours ago, someone launched this Colab token, and they've even put a little electricity into it. It's got a little 30 electricity there. That has been around for 9 hours, up 275% at 37,000. Now, I'm not endorsing any of these. Sometimes these may be scams, sometimes whatever, but this is the one that's on the top of the DEX screen, trending at the moment, and we can see that has just launched, and they have any description. Colab, there's a meme token designed to incentivize cross-project collaboration. So there we go. Devs who want to work with Colab must buy and burn the Colab or liquidity from the original contractor to become a verified partner. Why would a dev want to collaborate? Verified collaborations gains exposure to the Colab coin community, hype, and credibility for their project. How does a dev get validated? So you can check that out. To be verified, Pulse project dev must buy and burn Colab, etc. So you can check that out. Tokenomics, 500 million Colab with other pump tires projects will decrease the buy and burn 200 million team and extra help 100 million development website, etc. 20 million giveaway at the moment. So there we go. That is it from the group. They've got a Telegram group as well. We will check that out and see whether it's looks okay. We might talk about that some more in the future. So that's Colab coin. Up 275%. Love.io, of course, you guys know. I interviewed Anders from Love.io. Man, oh man, if they're holding back a lot of their good stuff, like the wallet and promotions and marketing and any networks that their commercial deals they've got, that could be pretty beautiful. At the moment, they have the price after the live stream. The price rallied it's been rallying ever since. So that's a pretty cool live stream. And of course, it's up 6.7%. And Love.io, they're sitting at 5 zeros, 37.58 at the moment. And yeah, we're definitely seeing a nice little pump there. So not bad, not bad. We'll call it the Kryptonite Show Pump. I had nothing to do with it, but it's funny that it rallied after the live stream. That was pretty funny. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So as you guys know, these guys have got a big website. I covered that in full. You can check out the interview with Anders. It was pretty informative from him and everything he's been up to. And of course, they do have this big Luffy store, right? So this is a high premium store. And of course, that is people buy, and some of the money they get cash back in Love token, and some of the money from the sales goes over to buy the Love token. So there we go. That is pretty cool. So we're expecting to see more from them. Could be a major protocol on PulseChain moving forward. Currently, market cap only 1.8 million, liquidity 264, and volume still on the low side 6,600. But once they start ramping things up with the marketing and the wallet and everything else, we could see this one possibly fly, right? So keep a lookout for that. Dominance at the moment, one of the OG WebChef tokens, 51 cents, is up 5%. We have seen a bit of a reemergence of the old printer tokens, especially yesterday, the day before. And Dominance still seems to be holding number 3 there. Surf, which launched 40 days ago, is up 4.4%. GoPulse is still sitting around 10 cents, but it's up 4% at the moment. Secret Conspiracy, don't anyone talk about that right now. That is up 3.9%. And thinking of conspiracy and secret, well, if you want to find out the secret about the Magic Carpet Ride on top of the Magic Carpet Ride, you've got to join the Strategy Club. So the link's in the video description. Join that. Only $35 a month. We're pushing intel in there every day virtually. We do a monthly report on all the markets, all the opportunities that we think are really cool. And of course, that's multi-chain. And of course, we're going to be dropping some massive alpha today on that. So you don't want to miss out. That's going to be exclusive. No one's else doing it. No one's even clued up on it. So you're going to get that alpha drop today. And that is possibly going to be the very biggest thing built on top of PulseChain. Yeah, the Magic Cup Ride on top of the Magic Cup, where I joined the Strategy Club, only $35 a month. And of course, if a lot of I've seen other ones out there that thousands of dollars, so you're going to get a much better deal. Join up today. All right, what else we got there? We got Die Hard there, benefiting old PDI, and of course that's up 3%. So we haven't got big gains on today, but we've got a few little greenies here. Beast token, of course, another OG WebChef, up 149, so it has bounced off the bottom. Not doing a big run yet, but maybe it's creeping back up. The old Beast up to 2.6%. We've got Teddy Bear there up 2.4% from OG, that's from James Maria. So the Teddy Bear moving back up, and a Troper as well. So these two are together, right? Part of the James Maria up 2% as well. So nice little move there. Top Hat from Crypto Coffee. One of the influencer coins. Of course, Crypto Coffee smashing out there, really ramping up his coverage. So big shout out to Crypto Coffee. And of course, the Top Hat there up 1%. And of course, we did see the other day that wallet that bridged over that 555 Ethereum ended up buying some Top Hat as well as PDI. So Top Hat was definitely one of the beneficiaries there. And I guess the last green here on our default view, this is the default view for DEX Screener, is the old PDC, and matched with the Troper there up slightly as well. So not bad at the moment. But we've got lots of great quality projects that are down today, obviously with the Richard Hart tokens, and this is where it is at the moment on there. Now, we did have on the bottom list there, we did have, Mooney Lisa. This was kind of going to be like a Troper kind of ecosystem. That is down 20% today. In fact, volume's fallen down to 11K on that one. We've got Soul Sunny Mineral, which I think is going to be pretty spectacular. That is down 19% today after just one account decided, there are a lot of holders in there, and it has to go through waves of growth, but we are expecting all those on-ramps to come up, as I say. So that's going to be pretty exciting to see that. And so that little dip right now could be a real godsend for some people wanting to pick that up, and it's cooled the RSI off as well a bit. We got Teddy Beer, little Teddy Beer. We saw the TOG there from James Maria. Obviously, Teddy Takeover there, big supporter of this, of course, is Moon King, and that is down 50% at the moment. So a real opportunity to pick up some of these quality ones, I think, as well. Best Everything also down 50% there from Pump Tires. So we can see a few other Pump Tires like the Pump Tires Die down 14% also on some of these as well. So Trump token, we also got some print tokens. There's a real mishmash of tokens down on the bottom end of the top 100 at the moment that are down. So that is pretty much it. Now, I did want to quickly go over to PulseCoin list, which I didn't bring up today, but we'll go through that too and see what the best of the best are. And looks like I've still got PDI moving up a little bit there. So yeah, it was at 0.3 of a penny yesterday, I think it was. And it looks like PDI is moving up slightly. Yeah, 3.1 cents. And it has gone to a high of 35 hundredth of a penny So this is pretty cool. Now, if you'd been in our Discord, you would have enjoyed this ride on the old PDI. Just saying, telling some friends. But man, this is doing pretty well on the move back up. I think it's like 20x or so from the bottom. So doing pretty good there. All right, that is where we are on PDI. Let's see what other things we've got going on down here on the list. Let's see. Yeah, we've got Wrap Bitcoin. Yeah, Wrap Bitcoin had a nice little move, right? There's a fork token on PulseChain. Speak with forked tongue. Me proud brave. We got 373 there on the old $373 on the old Wrap Bitcoin, and I'm expecting this to do well, right? I'm expecting this to ride up with the Bitcoin. Probably have some re-rating like this. These sort of candles get some re-rating at some stage as well, just slowly creeping, and then bam, then it goes bam, bam. So the old Wrap Bitcoin there getting some love. Yeah, what else there? USDC coin. So this is the other two USDC, USD Tether fork coins sitting at 0.2 of a penny. So they're running at about 2/3 of the PDI, but up pretty severely, 51% over the last week. So you can't be complaining too much about that. I mean, what was PDI? PDI's up 86% in the last week. So some pretty nice gains there as well. Just jumping through some of these. Let's see here down the line. Let's see here. Look at Surf tokens. Yeah, performed pretty well this week, isn't it? Up 190%. Probably check out, see what's going on there. Yeah, not too bad. We've got Vibratile. So let's talk about XUSD briefly. We interviewed the XUSD team. It's the people that shut down most of Maker. Let's say most of Maker there, and that is 57 hundredths of a penny, and ticking away. So yeah, it came off on the highs. This is back when when it did the big stuff on the 16th of April, and ended up pushing up the old XUSD to rapidly increase the burn. The burn's almost 11% now on XUSD. So that was a rapid burn that occurred there, and it's definitely slowed down in this period. But and of course the market eventually sold this down a bit, and we're currently at 57 hundredths of a penny. So this is the whole plan of this is to head towards the dollar eventually using incentives, and of course the Viber Pass. I mean, I reckon Michelle's invested in this as the top holder, and of course they have other tokens like Vibe, and of course they've got Web LPs. They're tied in with Love.io, right, with Anders from Love.io. They've got liquidity sharing there too. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes towards that $1 mark. And of course, the other side of it, of course, we're also looking at PUSD ALGO, right? A full-on algorithmic stablecoin. And of course, we're looking forward to see that get up and running as soon as possible. So big shout out to Jacob out there and his team that he's hired to do that. Not bad. Now, Aave token at the moment still 25 cents. So, some of these fork tokens, 25 cents here. And I used to have a beautiful list. I need to rebuild it of a lot of these fork tokens to see where they're all going. So I'm going to try to redo that. I'm going to rebuild that old list. It has a lot of stake coins, a lot of derivative coins. So we've got to go through and pull them all out and see how they're all performing. Because some of those times, particularly when the PDI Maker Theory was really on a tier, they were all going pretty bullish, right? If you had a bit of bag of those. Now, the other thing I was going to say is, P Maker will get a lot of support from, like Better Bank with the Aave fork and other protocols, I think, which are being planned for it. So it's going to help along that line. And of course, it's got big leadership there from Somi, who's obviously backs that pretty full on. All right, so that's kind of a bit of the exotic stuff, as I call it these days. But we're going to get into Titanix. So yeah, if you've got any more comments about that, let us know in the chat there. And of course, I wanted to talk about some big stuff happening in Titanix right now, because we are seeing, after a couple of days of a bit of a pullback, we are seeing some little bit of green candles here with Ethereum starting to move. And this is, you're buying on the bottom at the moment, right? So it's a pretty good place to buy. And when this moves, it's going to move pretty violently to the upside. That's all I'm going to say, because the buy and burns for Titanix and DragonX, Hyper and Hydra all turned off. And so its reversal is going to be pretty aggressive. And I'm going to leave that with you there. You want to find out more, of course, join our strategy club. Now, I wanted to go down to the bottom here and look at some of the strategy already playing out for the Omni-Chain strategy. Obviously, we've had teams like Uranus, that's between the dude and James from Baby DragonX, already launched. That was the first one. And now we've had others launched like H420 and E20 from the dude who we interviewed just the other week. And of course, these are also now on base chain. So the multi-chain strategy is happening. And of course, the multi-chain version of Titanix is X28, right? So that's the one that gets bridged over to these other chains from Ethereum to base chain, the EVM chains that will be in SUI at some stage. So that's pretty cool. And then we're waiting for Jake Sharp to really play out his hand with the stuff that he's been developing for the Omni-Chain strategy. So that may include AI agents, which he's talked about, and cross-chain liquidity arbitraging, on-chain liquidity arbitraging, lots of other little tricks like that. So we're looking forward to that, and maybe any new big protocol as well that's going to consume a lot of the Titanx, which is about circulating supply is about 98 trillion. I think the liquid supply is about 67 or something in that ballpark. So you can check out those numbers for sure on the official site. Now, the buy and burns, like I say, are all turned off. So that's the other big thing. The two big things, omni-chain strategy and the buy and burns. Of course, the big fat amount of Ethereum there. And the other thing, I just want to miss that, but they're actually looking to register these vaults, right? The vaults that are sitting in Titanx, DragonX, etc., and Helios in particular. They're looking at registering that with the strategic ETH reserve, of course, which we just looked and saw that Richard Hart managed to get the magic upright, or the strategic ETH reserve for PulseChain, listed on there too. So that's what the Titanx community is doing as well. We also know there's a big project coming over to PulseChain with the old EOS there, so that's a big deal as well. So there's a lot of stuff happening in behind the scenes with a lot of this as well. And of course, the dude talked about Janus, which has been around for quite a while now. There's a web LPing set up as well. We're looking forward to see that do really well as the magic carpet ride plays out eventually. Post 3,775 Ethereum price. So we're looking for that. Now, the big stuff we're looking for is Genie coming up forward. So new products, Genie coming up, Bitcoin Genie, and of course also Taurus as well. This is big news today out from that. So let's go check that out with Crypto Graphics, who we've interviewed only last week. What a wonderful interview that was. If you didn't see that, definitely well worth going through that. A great guy, super smart guy, and moving from influencer to founder and developer, pretty exciting stuff. And we can see that 8 hours ago, is it go time for Titanx, Ethereum, Bitcoin, and a Taurus Q&A. So definitely go check him out on there. I'm going to post his link to his channel if you guys want to go check that out, because this, I think, could be, along with Bitcoin Genie, these two really trying to deal with the buy side and sustainability side of projects like we've never seen before. And it's kind of like the holy grail of ROI protocols. So really, it's definitely worth something checking out. You can watch the stream I did with them, but also, keep a track on what he's doing, because I think these could be some of the heavyweights in the Titanx ecosystem. And when those buy and burn, when the market's on the uptrend, when the buy and burn turns over, this thing's going to run away. So pretty amazing. Leverage upon leverage upon leverage. It's going to be a pretty awesome opportunity. So check that out. That is an interview with his Crypto Graphics talking about his Taurus, which is looks like it's getting pretty close. So very exciting about that. Now that is there from Crypto Graphics. Big shout out to him. So that is kind of the play there, and he's styling that beard, there. So yeah, everyone's talking about the beards. I know that Eric from DragonX has a beautiful beard. They've got the beard styles going on there as well. So pretty cool. All right, I might just repost that too. So let's repost that there. Now, we also got Jake Sharp around, right? So Jake Sharp, of course, the founder of Titanx, he is out and about doing some stuff. So hopefully we'll see more and more of him as well. Obviously, it's the sort of the rich heart of the Titanx ecosystem. We will look forward to seeing him doing a lot more too. And of course, there's the DragonX as well, right? Eric has been out there doing a lot of cool stuff with his protocols. So the old DragonX, you definitely check that out as well. They had a big whale sale, right? So that's why the price got pulled down. It's always a whale comes out and decides, oh, well, the RSI's hot and it's had a good run. I'm going to take profits before even the retail book does, right? That's pretty much what they do. And there it goes, got reset, but still up very high at 14 Titanx per DragonX, and the buy and burn is turned off. The other one, of course, is Stevie D, the mad scientist. And of course, we can't wait for that to happen. That is got to be very soon, actually. The old DragonX and for Bitcoin Genie. So not DragonX, what did I say? Vault founder, mad scientist, Stevie D. And that is Bitcoin Genie, right? So let's have a quick look at that. Now, as you guys know, we're going to be covering multi-chain stuff, not just PulseChain. We are PulseChain maxis, of course, but we will be covering multiple chains because crypto has got so many opportunities, and sometimes they're not always on PulseChain. So there's always opportunities somewhere else as well. And if you do well on other stuff, you can always bridge it over to PulseChain and pump your bags on other good stuff there too. We're looking forward to some action here from the Stevie D, the mad scientist from Vault. We can see people like Marco the Hexkin, of course. He's a cross-chain guy as well. Titanx and DragonX. He's got some pretty big numbers here. Look at this. Titanx bounce over 10x. DragonX explode with 130x run. Hyper surge 50x. Baby DragonX skyrocket 250. Vault launched and ran 50x. Yeah, some exciting times there on the previous all-time lows inside the ecosystem there. So we're probably going to expect some pretty mad gains there too. So definitely keep a lookout for that. But, Bitcoin Genie is coming, and it could be pretty innovative. So we'll see whether he cracks the holy grail of ROI protocols with the old Bitcoin Genie there. So keep it taps on that. All right, so that is Titanix up. I'm going to post the link to that in the chat there. How we're doing for time? An hour and 5 minutes, so not bad. We're probably going to wrap up here. But that is the Titanix hub there from Mike Dean. Does a great job with that data. Very, very cool. Now, probably equivalent is we've got different sites on PulseChain that are, do portfolio. Because if you go up to the top here, you can see that he has overall ecosystem stuff here. System market cap for Titanix 70 mil. The ecosystem volume 323K. Titanix users over 20,000, etc. And also the amount of burn there, 126 trillion Titanix burned. We're only got 98 trillion left or something. And of course, maybe that protocol from Taurus takes in another 10 trillion or even more. Who knows? We're going to see. It's certainly going to be a heavyweight. I think it's going to be a heavyweight for sure. So we're going to see a massive reduction in the Titanix circulating supply and liquid supply is my guess. And I think we're going to see much more staking issues because I think most of the stuff's held by DragonX and Helios at the moment. So I don't think we'll see much movement from that like we have seen in the past. I think that's probably almost done. Now, he's got some cool stuff here like bubbles, obviously for Titanix, so you can check that out too. He's obviously got premium service that gives you a lot of data data, which is very valuable on these protocols. And, of course, the portfolio as well. You can check that out also and have your Titanix portfolio in there. And that is multi-chain too. So it also does PulseChain, I think, and other stuff like that. So very, very cool there. And it got a swap feature as well. You can swap tokens as well. So built by Mike Dean, really great guy doing a lot of great stuff there in that ecosystem. All right, that's pretty much it. I think we covered it all. We did a drop back there for Titanix. What do we had? Yeah, Bitcoin, $112,000. All-time high, guys. We're in history making here. The taxable's gone through to the next stage. That's bullish. That's one of the three big strategies of Trump, pretty much around that. And we got Cetus DEX, unfortunately. We do feel sorry for people that, get compromised like that because these guys are brutal. These exploiters are brutal. And of course, on SUI, they seem to have got back a bit of the money and stopped a bit of the money. And I don't know whether he'll give back some of the money, but we'll see. Because when you've got so much money and they're offering you $5 million, it just depends on the person, right? How much pressure you put on them. And then best of PulseChain, right? We've covered all that too, and it's a bit quiet day, a bit of a down day on PulseChain, a very little one. There's definitely some good quality protocols, some of the top ones I would say that are on little pullbacks, so you could pick up some of those. So because I think we're getting ready to roll. We're getting ready to roll here on PulseChain, and it can happen at any moment. We could see a God mode candle. In fact, let's go back to this screen because it's worth playing that video because it is pretty cool. Now,
you could get a God candle at any moment. You could get a giant green candle at any moment because it's easier to get them because it takes less economic energy because there's less of it for sale.
Now, that is true. And so we may very well see that. Now, one thing I want to talk about was just before we finish the show up was Raoul Pal, I should say. Raoul Paul, I think his name is. And he is the billionaire, obviously invested 70% or something of his portfolio into SUI, probably been compromised in this. No doubt, there's people saying he's the hack, founders, and there's all sorts of stuff, conspiracy theories out there. But man, he must have got hit pretty hard by that today. It'd be interesting to see that. But he had a little video that he told people that he had about 70% of his stuff on SUI. So we'll play a little bit of that. It's got no volume sound. I couldn't get the sound up, but we'll play a little bit of a video. We did disclose that, and you can sort of see what I'm talking about because he did this wonderful analysis of the bull market cycle, which is very, very good. But maybe he just made a mistake on the golden rule, right? Diversification. You guys have heard me talk about it. Not only should you have diversification on chain, on PulseChain, but you should also have multi-chain diversification as well. And of course, that also includes multiple wallet diversification too. So if you have that diversification, you're really going to protect yourself to a great degree. And you can still pick off the good stuff, but just be, multiple wallets, multiple chains, and multiple tokens. That's kind of a full breadth diversification, which will save you from a lot of trouble. All right. So
I'm massively over.
Oh, it looks like we got the sound. It wasn't playing before, so it's great.
Oversold.
Massively.
Can I ask you, percentages-wise, more or less?
I'm definitely over 70% SUI, and that's not anything to do with the foundation that I'm on. That's my just capital allocation of my savings. And simple, it's not because I'm on the foundation and people are like, hey, he's just shilling his coin. It's because the fucking chart of Solana, SUI versus Solana broke out, and Solana was the strongest horse in the race. Christian, who's the head of the foundation, his opening question now to projects that want to work with SUI is like, Well, show me the path to 1 billion users. Right? Because it's built for that scale. And if you're leading with questions like that, is like, yeah, okay, it's interesting you building this, whatever, but is this going to bring me 1 billion users? If it's not of high priority. And so their mindset is really big. And they back it up by, all of the projects that they've been launching. So, I've been privileged to be on the foundation to see the inner workings of an amazing group of people and see how they all come together. They're basically all ex-Facebook and Google. And they're very smart. They understand scale. They understand how to solve really difficult things, Walrus, stuff like that. It's super interesting. It's got all of the hallmarks of a massively growing ecosystem, massive growing number of users, massive growing number of applications. Have they had the big breakout application yet? No. But there will be one this cycle, and that'll be the first start of the bigger narrative.
All right, so that was the chart. That's the interview there that we disclosed as percentage. So yeah, you probably got pretty hard on that today. That being said, lessons to be learned. There's always lessons to be learned. The other big thing, of course, is he's done this wonderful presentation about the cycle, which I think is right on the money. And so I'm going to leave you guys with that for the next show tomorrow. So I hope you guys catch me. Today is Friday, and of course tomorrow we'll be having another great show. Next week on Monday, we've probably got another big interview coming up with another big personality coming up on PulseChain, so you don't want to miss that either. So it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, I'll leave you with this cool bullish way on the way out here, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So bon appetit, as we say.
Not a mystery. It is a repeat of the debt cycle. They are rolling the debts. They are doing the same thing. Each cycle is not to do with a halving cycle, nothing to do with any of that. It's all driven by liquidity cycle and funding of debts. Each phase, we get phase 1 of the banana zone, banana number 1. The corrective zone, banana number 2 comes. Another correction, banana number 3. So this is the banana zone. So that's what happened in 2020, 2021. Off we go. Sorry, that was 2017, which again looks very similar to this one. That was the last one. Here we are now. It can't be clearer to me. I've shown you the macro evidence, the technical evidence, the sentiment evidence. Everything here suggests to me that hold on to your hats. Don't fuck this up. Don't lose control of your tokens. Don't use leverage. Don't get your wallet hacked. Just sit with it. Be careful. Don't get FOMO. Do all of the right things, and we'll go up to the next phase of correction zone. That's going to be harder, because the next one that happens will have a 35% drop, and you'll all say, is it over? And you'll definitely be sure it's over, and everybody on Twitter will tell you it's over, and it won't be over. By our work, we suggest that because of the elongation of the business cycle, because rates were higher for longer, the forward-looking liquidity suggests that, again, probabilistically speaking, without any guarantees, this whole thing goes into Q1, maybe Q2 of 2026, which would align with Trump's, trying to win the midterms as well. So everything's lined up for us. I think it started. So keep the faith, keep building stuff, and let's keep driving SUI forward with all of this. Thank you.
So I guess the key there is, you don't want to just cover that there. Sorry, you don't want to have. You don't want to, you've got to make sure that you, I've got to make sure, where am I going here? Can you guys see that? I'm not sure. But we might go back to this other, what's happening there? Yeah. Let me just copy that there. I think we got, no, yeah, there we go. All right. So, I was just going to actually finish on this Bitcoin actually, because here we are, record time. So what better way to finish on Bitcoin pushing higher? I guess the next target area is like 130, 150, right? So we're at 111 now. It's going to be pretty interesting. We've definitely broken past the previous high that we had back here on the 21st of, the 20th of January. We got to 109,358, and now we're at, we've touched 112,000 exactly yesterday. Now we've got a brand new candle as we push higher. We've also on the daily here, we've got this golden cross, right? So this golden cross is going pretty nice. So it's just up we go to the next level. And bring it on. That's all I can say. That's we're heading up here somewhere. 120, 130. So yeah, bring it on. And of course, on the way to the end of the year to 150 to 180 for sure, and then maybe 150 to 250 by the end of the year potentially, right? And of course, outside chance I would say for 400k. That's probably the mark there. Definitely into 2026, we're probably getting into that mid $500,000 mark somewhere. So pretty awesome. So key catalysts, of course, we've covered a lot of those. Obviously, money printing, like Raul was talking about. Debt, of course, interest rates. Trump's three-legged stool strategy playing out around taxes, leverage, deregulation, reorganizing world trade, and of course capital investment on levels we've never seen before. People don't fully understand the build out that's going to happen in the United States over the Trump's administration. So yeah, it's game on every measure. It's going to be glorious, and the middle class in America is going to flourish. Crypto and commodities and stock market's going to boom. It's going to be pretty exciting. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. And now in 15 minutes, pretty much, hour and 16 minutes. So a good place to finish. Take care. Don't forget to follow on X, subscribe on YouTube, share the channels around. It's the easiest, best thing you can do. Not only just for this channel, but for all your favorite influencers in the PulseChain and crypto community, Titan community. Do that as well. That really helps a lot. And of course, you're going to pump your own bags. The more, the bigger the algorithms work for us, the bigger they work for you. All right, take care, everybody. I'll catch you on the next one, and peace out. Peace out. Let's actually play one more video. No, I'll leave it there because I'm just binging right now, binging on PulseChain and crypto. All right, take care, bye, and I'll catch you on tomorrow's show.